Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today on LinkedIn and on YouTube. My name is Jennifer Kaguah, and I'll be your host for today's session. I am joined here by my co-host,
Calling
Collins,
Kpormego.
on the program. We are truly excited to have you here for today's discussion on eco-friendly menstruation, why reusable pads matter. So please stay with us and learn. Today's conversation is not just about hygiene, it is about health, dignity, sustainability, and access. So please stay with us and learn. We also encourage you to stay present, take notes, and actively participate. Okay. Before we begin, I want to talk about the organization behind this great event. That's TripleAFoundation. At AAA, our goal is to encourage every individual, regardless of their background, where they can live an empowered and fulfilling life. We are committed to supporting street connected children, teenage parents, and young people by providing them with the needed skills that support their education, where they can live an empowered and fulfilling life. We also believe that when young people are empowered, entire community are transformed. So please stay with us and learn more on reusable sanitary pads. Hello, Collins. Hello. Okay. Yes, let's get started without wasting much time. I want to take this opportunity to introduce our first speaker. He is the person of Mr. Oppong, Mr. Michael Oppong. Let me use the full name. He's a passionate change maker and a purpose driven leader committed to innovation, sustainability, and social impact. He is a PhD student, founder and director of Crimson Liberation Hub, a design thinking coach, creative strategist, and youth leader. Through his work, Michael champions menstrual health equity, empowers young people to create meaningful solutions and leads initiatives that inspire lasting community transformation. Somebody will be like, why, as a man, the CEO and director for something related to ladies or women? We'll get to know that tonight. So please stay with us and learn. It is also a pleasure to introduce our second speaker so that we can get started quick, quick. She is the person of Le-Mai Mach. She is a dedicated advocate for innovation and sustainable impact. She serves on the advisory board of Crimson Liberation Hub and works as an air arterial services manager at Miles and More in Germany. With her expertise in strategy and global business operations, Le-Mai brings a unique perspective to youth empowerment, sustainability, and social innovation initiatives. There's a LinkedIn YouTube Live program. So please, my dear audience, you can also use this opportunity to introduce yourself, tell us your name, where you are joining us from, and also you can share with us your expectations for this event. I would love to read them out and give you a shout out as well. Thank you so much. Let's dive right into the conversation. Yes. Okay. So please, my first question, I would like to start from Mr. Michael Oppong.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So sir, please, my first question is, what does eco-friendly menstruation mean and why is it important today? We have been hearing about eco-friendly menstruation, but we don't understand it much clearer or simpler if we can break it down for us to get the meaning.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jennifer and Collins, and the entire team at AAA Foundation for putting together this session for us to educate the public on what eco-friendly menstruation means. So thank you so much for the
You're
opportunity as
welcome.
well. For us at Crimson Liberation Hub, eco-friendly menstruation basically starts with a simple idea. And the idea is that menstrual products shouldn't cost the earth, literally. That is to say that sustainable products like reusable cloth pads reduce massive waste that is generated by, you know, disposable parts, which are often about 90% plastic. But beyond waste, it's also about dignity and access. When we produce this, our filo reusable sanitary pads locally, what I mean is in Ghana, what we are doing is creating jobs. We are trying to shorten the supply chains and ensure that girls have reliable access, to sanitary pads. And again, menstrual health is a gateway issue. When a
Okay.
girl can manage her period, with confidence, she stays in school. She will participate, fully in school activities, and she will thrive. That is why this conversation is not a niche for Crimson Liberation Hub, but we believe that it's a foundation to building equity and sustainability. So basically, that is what eco-friendly menstruation means to us.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Michael. Yes. Miss Le-Mai, how would you describe eco-friendly menstruation and why is it important in today's discussion?
Thank you, Jennifer. So you mentioned in the beginning very beautifully that it's not only about the hygiene products, but it's rather more than replacing one product with another. And as Michael also mentioned, that we are now needing to rethink the dignity, the access, and sustainability together. So to us, it's very important that we grant the access to a safe, reusable product. So it's not only about reducing the waste, but also to gain consistency, to provide confidence for young girls and women, so that they have better school attendance. And I think the conversation matters today even more because climate resilience and the gender equity are deeply connected. And the menstrual health sits exactly at that intersection. And as Michael mentioned very beautifully, that today our mission is about system change and not only about hygiene products. That is why I think that eco-friendly menstruation is a very important conversation.
Thank you very much, Miss Le-Mai. So we have to understand that eco-friendly menstruation is not just about hygiene. or not only about reducing waste. No, it is a system change. So we have to understand that also. It's not only about hygiene, health, no, it's about a system change. We have to understand that clearly. Yes, to my next question, I want to start from Miss Le-Mai. Please, per your experiences, we are narrowing this to a practical session. So, per your experiences, what are some of the challenges that women and girls face using disposable products?
So I
Yes.
think a very crucial challenge, although half of the populations are females, it's still the biggest challenge is that our problem is oftentimes invisible to the people who don't have the issues, who consistently can afford menstrual products. So for many girls and women's disposable pads mean that we have reoccurring monthly costs. And sometimes there are unreliable access, for example, in rural areas. And then it's also the shame around asking for money because the products are very expensive and then also recurring on a monthly cost. And then girls, if they feel unsafe or ashamed, they tend to unsafe alternatives. And yeah, as Michael also mentioned before, that they are missing school or work during their menstruation out of shame. So, what I would like to add also, because we are talking about eco-friendly today, that the disposal itself is also another challenge for us. So many girls, they don't even have like a private or safe way to discard the used products. So yeah, I really want to emphasize what you said in the beginning, that today's discussion, it's not only about a health issue, but it's more like about an education and participation issue, because when our menstruation, which appears like every month, interrupts our education, then it will also affect our long-term opportunities. So that's why it's very important to talk about this topic today.
Okay. Thank you so much, Imai, for touching on the challenges for us tonight.
Yeah.
I don't want to stress you too much because I don't want to say you don't have a personal experience in it, but let me ask it this way. What has been your observation of some of the challenges that women and girls face when using disposable sanitary products?
Yeah. So yeah, you are quite right. So building on what Lima said, um, I mean, I will share what I hear directly from the communities and the schools that we visited.
Okay.
So first of all, the cost is an issue. The cost. Now, a pack of disposable parts might seem very affordable, okay, but over a year, it becomes a burden for many families, and that is why the problem persists. So for this month, they can get the 20 cities, the 40 cities to buy it, but you realize that for over a year, it becomes a burden for them. And when the girls are going to their parents to ask for money for part, some of them are complaining that find your own way to get the parts, save your own money to buy the parts. Then, secondly, from the field, I also realized that getting access to the parts sometimes are inconsistent, and it ties into what I said earlier, especially in the rural areas. Some of them are not able to get um, the, the 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 common parts, I should say. Because I remember we went to one community in Dogo and they were using a sanitary pad that costs 15 cedis a pack.
Yeah.
and the women there complained of, getting itches when they use that particular pad. But that is what they have at that rural area.
Oh,
So the access is even inconsistent in some rural areas. Some of the shops don't have, even the normal disposable ones that everybody knows. So sometimes they run out of stock, or sometimes maybe for some time they are not able to restock for people to buy. Then thirdly, another observation from the field is the shame. Okay, girls, often have to ask their fathers or their brothers money for parts, which sometimes can feel very humiliating. According to them, they feel shy. Even those who are staying with their step parents, their guardians, their aunt, their grandmas, they feel that shame to go to them to ask. And so when the products are not available, then some will resort to the rags, the cloth, and even the leaves, plantain leaves, okay, which carry so many health risks.
yeah,
Then finally, finally, as Le-Mai said, the disposal of the pad is even a challenge for many of them. For many schools and homes, as Le-Mai said, there is no private space, there is no designed place where they can drop their disposable pads. Okay, so this is some of the common observations from our work on the field. And these are not abstract problems. These are daily realities that affect these girls, their education and their opportunities. So these are the challenges that I've observed from the field.
thank you both for touching on those challenges. I think as a country, we have to work on that
Yeah,
because
exactly,
it's very
exactly.
sad. Yeah, we have to because it's
Especially
very,
the disposal bit where
yeah,
um, we struggle to they struggle to dispose disposable parts, because if you're not careful, someone is going to use your blood for something. We don't have proper waste systems, and so dogs
yeah,
will be hunting for these things in the trash. I mean, they don't get anywhere, they are just around us. It's a big
yeah.
challenge.
Then I think it's about time we advocate for the reusable parts. We push further so that, let's say, some years to come, we give ourselves some time frame, let's say by 2030, 2040, we are all moving towards the reusable sanitary pad, then
Yeah.
we leave the other one. I think we can do that. Yes. Thank you both for touching on the challenges. Yes, to my next question. We don't always talk about the environment.
Yeah.
We always think about, can we afford it? Will the person be okay at the end of the month? So my next question is, yes, to Mr. Michael, yes. What environmental impact do disposable sanitary products have, especially in our communities?
Okay.
The
Thank you
impact.
very much. Yeah, thank you very much. This is a very good question, and the angle about the environment is also very key. Now, let's be direct here. Um, if not all, most disposable parts are made with plastic polymers. That's what they are called, plastic polymers. They have super absorbent gels, synthetic fibers. These are the things that are used to produce the disposable parts. And so just a single pad, a single disposable pad can take several years without decomposing. It's not like a leaf where it will decompose after some time. If you throw the disposable pad on the floor on the ground, it doesn't go anywhere. It can stay there for so many years without doing anything. Okay, because of what they are made of. And so in Ghana, where our waste collection isn't universal, a particular have a particular place where we collect all waste. You understand? And so, what do we see? The paths, the used paths end up in the gutters, in open drains, or even burned in compounds. And you know, when you are burning them, because when we went to the schools and the communities, the teachers advised the girls to burn their parts because they cannot trust, the system. They cannot dispose it. So they should burn them. And burning also releases some toxic fumes because they are used parts. So imagine if all the girls around the world are burning their parts. Just imagine the toxic fumes that will be all over the place. And when they dump them, it contaminates the soil, the water. When it rains, all these things will mix up with the water and it flows. And because these parts are designed to absorb and retain the disposable parts, they are designed in such a way that they have to absorb and retain what the blood. And so when it happens like that, they don't break down. Okay. And what happens is that it destroys our environment. Okay. So in our
Okay.
neighborhood, it affects the air, the water, the community, everything. So I think choosing reusable sanitary pads is a practical step towards a cleaner and safer communities. Because none of the things that I mentioned about the disposable pads applies to the reusable sanitary pads. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Michael. Miss Le-Mai, please would you like to add anything?
Yeah, so thank you, Michael, also for breaking down the the additives and also the chemicals in the disposable pads. And I think this is very, very crucial to understand the impact of our environment. And just imagine that half of the population needs or is using disposable pads from the time of becoming a young girl until menopause. And when we now think about the environment, we oftentimes overlook the scale of the problem, as Michael mentioned. And I think, and also what he mentioned, that where the waste is ending up at the end. So we also have, not only in Ghana, but globally, communities without a strong waste infrastructure. So the disposal is a very big risk to our environment and our public health. So the eco-friendly menstruation, what is our topic today, is very crucial because it's not just a sustainability discussion, but it's also, as Michael emphasized, it's also like a community management and also a development issue. And oftentimes, the argument of disposable pads is that it's very convenient. Of course, it's convenient, but we need to think if we are willing to externalize the true cost of convenience onto our and also onto other communities. Only thinking what Michael mentioned, where the waste is ending up. Sometimes it's not only disposed in front of our door, but it will be shipped into other communities, into other countries. So I think it's very important to think globally here when we start thinking about our own community. So yeah, it's very important to also calculate the environmental effects and impacts here.
Thank you so much, Le-Mai. It's very important for us to calculate the environmental effect of reusing the disposable sanitary products. That's very true. So let's do that. I think when we practice that, have a safe environment where you and I will be safe. The next generation will also be safe. So let's all practice that. Yes. Collins, hello.
Hello. Thank you,
Yes,
Jenny.
my co.
Hello, Jenny.
Yes. Please, we can hear you.
Thank you for taking us this far. All right. So my next question is, how do reusable and then makes them a better alternative to disposable pads? Since we've learned that disposable sanitary pads comes with a lot of environmental impact. Le-Mai, please, I'll come to you first. How do reusable pads work? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Collins. I think this question also is very interesting to the most of us when talking about reusable, but thinking, okay, how do they actually work? So I can say also from my personal experience that the reusable pads are very similar to the disposable pads, but there's also a difference because they are designed with an absorbent and washable layer. So it's very safe to reuse them over time. And there's also a difference here, and it's a key difference, not only how they work, but what the impact is. Because the impact here is that despite of disposable pads, we do have an ownership here instead of the constant repurchasing. So rather than needing to buy menstrual products every month, girls and women, they can have a reliable solution that they can use for years and already have at home. So we think that reusable pads, they work very well because we have lower long-term costs, as um, Michael mentioned, and also roughly calculated when we not look at 1 month, but a year, a lifetime. And then what is also very important that we have the predictable access, which is very practical if we live in areas with unstable supply chains. And also what we talked about in the topic before, that we can act environmentally responsible. So the story here and also what we thrive for in the Grimson Liberation Hub is that the innovation of reusable pads is not about complexity, but it's more about durability and also accessibility. And Jennifer also mentioned it very beautifully in the beginning that today we are also talking about accessibility and dignity. So that's my take on how the reusable pads work.
That's great. Mr. Michael, please, would you like to add something?
Yes, for sure. So that's a very great question. How do the reusable sanitary pads work, and what makes them, good alternatives? That's a very great question. So for Crimson Liberation Hub and our Philo reusable sanitary pads, you can see the Philo reusable sanitary pads. Um,
Yeah.
we have a soft and skin friendly top layer. Let me quickly do demonstration. Okay, so yeah, I hope you can all see. So this is the first layer, which is very soft and skin friendly. Then we also have the an absorbent core, okay, usually cotton in the middle. In the middle, that's the middle layer, and a waterproof backing. This side is a waterproof backing, and the purpose is to prevent leakage or leaks. Okay, then we've attached some button snaps on the wings. just like the disposable pads. Okay, so after use, you just rinse them, you wash them with soap and water, and you sun dry. Okay, and they are designed to last for about 2 years. They are designed to last for about 2 years. Depends on how you care for them. Okay, so what makes them? What makes the filo reusable sanitary pads or all reusable sanitary pads a strong alternative compared to the disposables? First of all, is the reliability. So once a girl has a last set, okay, she's set for the rest of the years. Secondly, it's cost effective. The upfront investment that you make in buying the reusable sanitary pad, that is, it pays for itself for several months. And thirdly, adaptability. So I'm trying to look at what makes it a strong alternative. Okay, and I said first of all, it's reliable. Secondly, it's cost effective. Thirdly, adaptability. They work very well in areas with irregular supply chains. Okay, you have it all the time. And the fourth one is comfort. Comfort. Now, many users of our filo reusable sanitary pads don't complain about irritation or itches or infections as compared to the disposables because of the chemicals. So this one is chemical free. And so the materials that we also use are very natural and breathable, you know. So basically, this is a proven solution to accessible and durable way of managing our, menstruation. So that is how the reusable sanitary pads work. Designed just like the disposables with wings, very, very good, no chemicals, very friendly and gentle on the skin, and can last for a long time. So the investment that you make in getting one will be worth it for several months to come. That is my take on how the reusable sanitary pads work.
Wow, that's educative. I think Jenny, you're supposed to switch into reusable pads because it's cost effective, it's
Yeah.
reliable, and then it's adaptable. It will save you cost. Why? So, Jenny, please, would you like to take us further?
Thank you so much for this practical session. Actually, I have one. I have been using it. So I have
Oh,
tested and
that's nice.
tried. It's very good. Yes, I have been using it. Yeah, it's very good. Let me also read some comments from our dear audience so that we can continue. Priscilla Niapa, she's saying when you use reusable sanitary pads, you are not only caring for your health, but also making an environmental conscious choice. That's interesting. Thank you so much, Priscilla, for joining us tonight. Obed is saying, how long does it take to use a reusable pad?
I mean, it takes up
Mr.
to
Michael, how long?
yeah, it takes up to 2 years. We advise that maybe if you use it for like 2 years, change it. Yeah, with proper care, you can use
Mhm.
it for a long time.
Okay, thank you so much. Same Obed. He's saying, I can't see anything. Is it a general problem? Yeah, I think it was a general problem. Sorry for that, Obed. Priscilla is saying, very insightful. Thank you, Mr. Kwesiok. Great event so far. Thank you so much, sir. If one concern, she's saying, great submission from both speakers. Thank you so much, founder for TripleAFoundation. And Maxwell. Hi, I'm Maxwell from University of Cape Coast. a final year student joining from UCC Main. Thank you so much for joining us, Maxwell. I hope you learned something. Don't say you are a man, so you are not interested in this conversation. A friend will need it, a colleague will need it, your child will need it, even your wife. So please stay with us and let's learn together. Yes, now to our next question.
Yeah.
Yes, this question has to be about the benefits for using the reusable pads. But I'm going to take it from this perspective in two angles. I will start from Mr. Michael first. Please, what are the key benefits? Let's say in terms of finance and environmental aspects for using reusable products.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jennifer. Um, let's break it down simply and look at
Yeah,
all the three things involved. So health wise, reusable sanitary pads are made with natural and breathable fabrics. Okay, that reduces the risk of rashes and infections that are linked to synthetic materials and chemical fragrances in some disposable pads. So as I mentioned earlier, we went to one community and the women were complaining of itches, and because the type of disposable pads that they were using is full of chemicals and it doesn't sit well with them. So health wise, the reusable sanitary pads are avoids all these things like the chemicals and everything is natural breathable cotton fabric. Then financially, let's say a girl or a family might spend close to, let's say, 300 to 400 Ghana cedis monthly on disposable parts, and um, sorry, they can spend about, let's say, 40 cedis a month, but for a year they are getting close to 400 cedis plus.
yeah,
If you take the reusable sanitary pad, it costs about 1% of the whole cost. Okay. Once you buy
okay,
one, say for 100 Ghana cedis, you have saved a lot of money for a year. Now remember, the calculation I did is just for a year, and you
yeah,
can use our um, reusable pad for, let's say, 2 years. So let's say you are spending about 800 Ghana cedis on pad, on the disposable, but you can just get it for 100 Ghana cedis and you save a lot. So financially, it's cost effective. Okay.
yeah,
Then environmentally, um, one reusable sanitary pad can replace hundreds of disposables. That is, and dramatically cut plastic waste and the carbon footprint of production and transport. Okay. But let's see, beyond the metrics that I've given, there's a human benefit as well. The human benefit is peace of mind. You have the peace of mind. You don't have to be looking for money every month to buy pad. When you are not worrying about your next purchase, or when you are not worrying about, hey, how am I going to dispose my pad after my
yeah,
flow, you
yeah,
can focus on learning. You'll be okay. You live fully because everything has been planned already. You don't have to worry about that. So that's the human benefit side of it. I'll pause here if Le-Mai wants to add something. Yeah,
yes. Thank you so much. For the financial aspects, that one is true. Sometimes you don't have money to even purchase the other one, but you have no option than to buy it because you can't stay in the house throughout. So what
exactly.
about somebody, a girl who can't afford it? So that means she's going to med school. So we have to advocate massively for the reusable sanitary products. Yes. My next question, Le-Mai, please, I will start from you. I want to know the key benefits for using the reusable sanitary pads in terms of health wise, per your personal experiences and your observations from other people as well.
So I can only echo what Michael mentioned, and from my personal experience back in the time when I was using disposable pads, it was like, how to say, the when I was a there of course was ashamed to go to the shop and buy my pets, especially when I was not alone, but maybe with
Yeah,
friends. There were
yeah,
boys in the group of friends.
it's true.
And yeah, I think we all know how teenagers are. So they are not very mature. And this is very painful for a young girl. So the I want to touch on more on the mental health issue here, but also what Michael mentioned with the financial aspect. When you are very aware of the financial aspect, maybe you leave a disposable pad longer than you should, because you are afraid to use a new one. And then it's a perfect or perfect nutritious basis for yeast infections.
Yeah,
And the issue goes on because when you have a yeast infections, you are very ashamed to seek help, because maybe you go to your parents and your parents say, okay, so where did you get it from? And also to see a doctor is even more crucial for a young girl. So I think it's both what the physical health and also the mental health. And I think Michael described it very perfectly with the term of peace of mind. So I think the important thing here is the emotional and physical benefit, and
Yeah.
which is empowerment. So yeah, as a woman, I can really feel how it felt when I was still using the disposable pads.
thank you so much. Let me use this opportunity to thank TripleAFoundation and Crimson Liberation Hub for bringing this product out.
Yeah.
It's a game changer indeed because I remember some of us way back around 2015, 2016, 17, thereabout. It was very difficult for us to even buy the disposable sanitary pad. I remember a friend told me that, oh, as for her, she uses Pampers, Pampers every month. And I'll be like, wow, Pampers is too big. So do you
Yeah.
feel comfortable using it? She said she doesn't have money to buy the whole pack, but Pampers was around, I think, one CD 50 pesos during that time. So thank you, AAA Foundation and Crimson Liberation Hub, for
Yes.
always donating to girls in school. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, to my co-host Collins.
Yes. Yeah, hello, Jenny. Wow.
Yes. Please can you take
It
us to
has
the
been,
next question?
yeah. Jenny,
Yes.
these benefits are just undeniable.
Yeah.
But some people still have some misconceptions about reusable pads. Le-Mai,
Yes, we
please, I
have.
would come to you first. Um, what are some common misconceptions that you've heard about reusable pads?
Yeah, that's a very exciting topic because
Yeah.
I can tell you, and I think here we are all advocates for reusable pads, but there are still people out there who have very big misconceptions still nowadays. Although in our bubble it seems very unlikely to think that, but yeah, one of the biggest misconception really is that reusable pads are automatically unhygienic. But in reality, the hygiene, it really depends on proper care and education, and not whether we use disposable or reusable, as we mentioned before in the topic we just talked about. And another misconception, I think, is that reusable pads are only used in low-carbon communities. But in fact, reusable menstruation products are a smart sustainability choice for everyone. And I can also tell that also, yeah, in our bubble, we feel very privileged and modern and fancy to use the reusable pads, because we it is really a conscious choice for our body and also for our environment and also our community. And I think the another misconception I can think about is that people, they say girls won't adopt them. You can talk about that, but there are no girls adopting the reusable pets. But as the Grimson Liberation Hub shows that education and when education and trust building is happening, then the adoption is oftentimes very, very strong. So um, I I can tell that the misconception is not really true. Yeah, that's my take.
Wow, that's great. Actually, these misconceptions, today is my first time hearing of it's being unhygienic and then used
Yeah.
by local people. Mr. Michael, please, how do you address these misconceptions since you are founder and director of Reusable Liberation?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so basically, that is what Le-Mai has mentioned. The fact that the claim is, unhygienic. But the question I ask them is, after wearing your boxer shorts or using your towels, you throw them away or you care for them? That's the question I ask everybody when they ask, about the hygienic nature of the reusable pad. I mean, with proper care, washing, drying, I mean, it should work just like we use our towels and our boxer shorts and our panties all the time. And sometimes people feel that it's too much. It's just too much to use the reusable sanitary pads, because after using them, you have to wash them, you have to dry them, you have to use them again. They feel like it's too much. But for the disposable, once they wear it, they just throw it away and they are done. So what we do in addressing these issues on a field is that you realize that after taking them through the usage and how to care for the parts, all these misconceptions are just nothing to them again. They rather embrace it and they rush for it. You see? So that is how one of the ways that we use to handle this misconception. We demonstrate how they can handle the product. Then we share some testimonials about those who have used them, and you realize that they now embrace it with some enthusiasm. They are excited about it, and so they want to trust it and turn away from this skepticism and issues about the misconceptions. So that is how Crimson addresses the concerns about the reusable sanitary pads. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Penny, have you
Thank
had
you
these
so much.
misconceptions before? Penny.
Yes, please. Yes. For
Have you
me,
have you
as for me, I would say that yes. As for me, I would say that the reusable sanitary pad is a game changer. No doubt. No doubts for me. So please, my dear audience, those watching us live and those who will watch later, let's all go for the reusable sanitary products. It's very good. Every month you don't think about it. Do I have money to buy one? No. You have a standby. Go for it. But you have to know how to keep it very well so that you won't get any, should I say, infection, depending on you. So please, let's go for the game changer. It has come to stay as well. Let me read some comments so that we continue with our conversation. One, Maxwell is asking that,
Yeah, we can hear you.
yes, please, one of our audience, Michael, he's asking that how can he become an ambassador of Crimson Liberation Hub?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my brother, becoming an ambassador, for Crimson Liberation Hub starts with believing in our vision and our mission of, promoting um, menstrual health education, reducing period poverty, and, empowering communities through this sustainable practice. So, as an ambassador, you can represent us, you know, in this way. You can support our campaigns. When you have the time, you can join us on one of our sessions.
Yeah.
And when you do, of course, you get a T-shirt. You can organize the girls in your school or your community, as a lead, and we'll come around and have conversations with them, and we induct you to being an ambassador. Yeah. So, if you want
Thank
more information about that, I mean, you can always get in touch, and we'll make things work.
you. Okay. Thank you so much. I want to take this opportunity to give a shout out to my boss, Mr. Kwesi York. Thank you for joining
Yeah.
us tonight, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, now to our next question. I'll start from Mr. Michael. How can we encourage more girls and women to adopt reusable menstrual products? How can they use it confidently and comfortably?
Um, how can we encourage girls?
Yeah.
Well, from our field work, from our field work, um, we, we can encourage girls and women to adopt reusable sanitary pads based on three pillars. Based on three pillars.
Okay.
First of all, the education. So education, demonstration, and community endorsement. These are the three pillars we use to encourage more girls and women to adopt the reusable pads. So first of all, when we do our workshops, we don't just give the products to the girls just like that. We make sure we learn about menstrual health, how we can care for the products, and we provide, a safe space for these young girls to, share their experiences and talk
Yeah.
privately. Then, secondly, we do live demonstrations where we show the young girls and the mothers and the teachers and those in the community how the whole process is done. And so this time around, we are going with our bowls, our water, our
Oh,
we are going do everything live on the field, demonstrate after using, how to wash, how to dry. That's that is how we are going to encourage them to use. Then, crucially, we also let girls lead. So most of this um, safe space talks and the demonstrations, we try to make the girls take part. So after we do our part, we also invite them to demonstrate so that they can be part of the whole process. And so basically, these are the three pillars that we are using to encourage our girls and our women to adopt the reusable sanitary pads.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Leslie, Mai, please, would you like to add anything? Yes,
Yeah,
how we
so
can use it.
thank you, Jennifer. So Michael described it very well, and I really want to emphasize to have a look into our community talks and education sessions, because if you see them or even if you take part in them, it's such a wholesome experience, and it makes me feel very, very proud to be part of that. And what Michael described, that he and the team, they go into the schools and communities, and they are very, very hands-on. So I think one way to educate, but also to build trust with young girls and women, is a key here, because adoption doesn't really happen through pressure, but more through trust. So we are not trying to convince the girls, but we are rather trying to equip them with the information and also with making choices. And as Michael said, to provide a safe space where they can also, but also to exchange experiences and also insecurities with other girls, because we really believe that it's so other girls and women share their own lived experiences. So this is our take at the Crimson Liberation Hub, to encourage the girls and women to adopt reusable sanitary products here.
Yeah. Jennifer, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Yes. I'm saying, my dear audience, I hope
Yeah.
you've taken notes and you've learned something,
Uh,
because as for me, I'm using mine. So should I say I'm a brand ambassador for Crimson Liberation Hub? So you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
also go for yours and use it and testify as well. Yes, my next question has to be, a lot of people have this in mind that as for reusable parts, it's very expensive. The branding, the packaging alone, they have this thing in mind that is very expensive. So my next question has to be, I'll start from Miss Le-Mai. How can reusable parts be made more affordable and accessible, especially in low income communities?
I would like to talk about this in a more global sense, because I think that Michael can really describe it even better, being locally with the Crimson Liberation Hub, and how we solve this problem on a local base. So our initial thinking or our initial philosophy here is that affordability, it's not only about lowering the price of the product, but it's more about having a local production, also having a community distribution partnership, and also what we do to integrate schools, and also sustainable social enterprise models. And I think this is also why we really needed the Crimson Liberation Hub and why it's so important, because we are building an ecosystem. And like Michael mentioned before, we are not only distributing the products here. And also knowing that the Crimson Liberation Hub is a an NGO which has a funding of the Help Alliance from the Lufthansa Group. We also have to think that the charity alone does not scale. So we really need to work very hard because we know that sustainable access models do. So this is our mission and our philosophy here, to provide affordable and accessible reusable pads.
Thank you
Yeah, and
so
maybe
much.
Michael can go into more detail how we then really put this into reality then.
Thank you so much, Ms. Le-Mai, for such ins- for such insights. Yes, Mr. Michael, please, would you like to add anything?
Yeah,
How we
so
can make it affordable?
I will
Yeah,
agree with Lumaya that affordability is not about the price, reducing price, but
yeah,
rather it's an ecosystem. So for Crimson Liberation Hub, what we are doing to make it more affordable and accessible, especially in the rural communities, is through partnerships. Partnership
okay.
with NGOs like AAA Foundation. I mean, you've been so tremendous when it comes to that. We've
Uh-huh.
done projects, and
Yeah,
another one is set to happen soon. And so when we have partners who come on board to um, to provide the resources, we realize that we are able to make it very affordable for the communities, even without them paying. Okay, so one of the
yeah.
things that we could do is to engage local men and women to sew the parts. And even when we do, we're also careful with the pricing to make sure that it's affordable, for the next coming years. So basically, we ride on partnerships, with NGOs, with communities, to make our parts more affordable and accessible in the rural areas.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Mr. Michael Oppong, for such submission. My dear audience, you can type in your questions. If you have any question, any contribution, any doubt that you have, you can type it in the chat, because we have the pioneers for reusable sanitary products here with us. They will help us to answer any question that you have. Yes, to our next question, Mr. Michael.
Yeah.
What role do education and awareness play in changing attitudes towards menstrual hygiene products?
Okay. Thank you. So for the Crimson model,
Okay.
education is our catalyst. I mean, education is very key when you look at the Crimson model, because we believe that the stigma that is out there is thriving in silence, and so when we make them aware, we what we are building is we are building agencies, we are building knowledge. And so anytime we teach about um, menstrual health education, and how they can keep themselves, what is what we are doing is We are looking at what is happening in their body, what options exist for them when it comes to managing their periods, how to care for the products. What we are doing is that we are replacing the shame that they have
Yeah.
with knowledge. Because when we go, some of them have so many myths, stigma around menstruation. That is what they know. And so education plays a very key role. Once we are educating them, we are trying to debunk all this stigma and replace with knowledge. And this matters for everybody. You know, boys and men need to understand too that they have to be supportive, allies when it comes to this. And so
Yeah.
education is very key. And also in schools, we try to talk to the girl child coordinators. They have girl child coordinators who once a while do
Yeah.
menstrual adolescence education for the yearlies. So we empower them, we encourage them to continue doing that, having the conversations, providing a safe space for the young girls to come to them to share their experiences privately. And for communities, I mean, when we have open dialogue about these things, it helps a lot. I remember when we were doing our opening ceremony, we had a dialogue with the community. A lot of people were mentioning, some cultural implications, some biblical implications about
Um,
menstruation, and so many things. So we realized that when we have these dialogues with the community as well, we are we are helping them appreciate the whole thing, not as a taboo. And so, for the Crimson model, we believe that when people are informed about the whole process, they make confident choices. Okay,
yeah.
and and I believe they can also advocate for better, policies and access about this whole reusable sanitary pad. So that is the role education and awareness play in Crimson's model.
Thank you so much. Mr. Oppong.
Yeah,
Education is very important.
yeah.
Education is key, so we have to pay attention to that as well. My next question on to Miss Le-Mai. Please, my question is, what are two practical steps that individual or organization can take today to support eco-friendly menstruation? Yes, the practical steps that we can take today. Yes.
So I would summarize it in three. So the first
Okay.
step would be to normalize the conversation, and I think it's very nice to have this conversation today, also streamed globally, so
Yeah.
that we normalize the conversation here, but also at home. As Michael mentioned, not only between girls and women, but also with your brother, with your father, uncle, and so on, or with your friend.
Yeah.
But also in schools, because we see a very high impact that girls are missing schools, and also in workplaces, because as we mentioned before, we are not only talking about menstruation for young girls, but menstruation until menopause. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a very long time. So we
Yeah.
have different stages of life here.
Yeah.
So yeah, one step would be to normalize the conversation. And the second um, step would be to, or is a call to support organizations that create sustainable local solutions instead of only doing one-time donations. So you can really support a system. We at the beginning we were talking about a change of systems, and talking about providing dignity and accessibility, and also touching upon the topic of health, financial independency, and also environmental topics. So yeah, please support those organizations, and also to invest in education alongside the product distribution. Because we really believe that products without the knowledge really rarely create lasting change, as Michael also mentioned before. So these would be my three practical steps here.
Thank you so much. Mr. Michael, please, would you like to add anything? Any practical steps that
Yes,
individual?
exactly. Let me add that um, one of the practical steps is to support, the work that Crimson Liberation Hub is doing. Our model is to provide, comprehensive menstrual health education to these young girls, women, and boys alike, and also, make accessible to them the reusable sanitary pad as an alternative to help save our environment, and to also help, put our girls back in school. So support our initiative. We want more partnerships, more volunteers to help us expand the work. I mean, if you know of any community, that is struggling, we can always work together to support them. If you know somebody who, is looking to support, certain initiatives like ours, I mean, our doors are always opened. So, what I would say finally is that if you are in Ghana, if you are wherever in the world, and you are looking to collaborate, we are always open, to partnerships. Um, that center on community voice and sustainability. So just get in touch and let's support eco-friendly menstruation together. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Mr. Michael. Thank you so much, Crimson Liberation Hub.
Yeah.
Miss Le-Mai, please your final words. Your final words.
My final words are a gratitude and a very big thank you for this opportunity that Michael and me, representing the Crimson Liberation Hub, that we did have the opportunity to talk to you, and also to have the audience streaming, and also having the opportunity to to restream this, and also maybe send the link to a friend, to a beloved one, so the message gets spread very wide. So very grateful, and thank you very much for this opportunity. I think we are all realizing that this is a very important issue here, and we are caring for us, we are caring for our loved ones, and we are caring for the generations which are coming. And we are not only thinking about breaking the stigma, being sustainable, but also to support a generation, a young generation, really, will shape the world of tomorrow. So very grateful for that.
Thank you so much. Mr. Collins. Hello, Collins.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Collins. Yes.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Collins. We can hear you.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
Thank
To
you
my
very
dear
much.
audience, if you have any question,
Yeah, I think there are some questions on the LinkedIn post. Yeah,
okay.
Jennifer, if you can check, there are some comments, new comments
No
on the
comments.
LinkedIn.
Oh, my network call today. Hello, Collins.
Good.
Yeah, hello.
Please, can you help us out with the questions?
Okay. see any
My
question
next
here,
one.
but
Let me see any question.
Okay, should I read?
Yes, please help us out.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so there is a comment from Obed asking that is it advisable to use washing machine to wash the reusable parts? Lima, I really want to answer that.
Yeah. So I think we were talking about conveniency earlier. I think for me personally, I love to just put it into the washing machine, but it's not a necessity. So you only need for a first rinse cold water to get rid of most of the blood, and then you are able to wash it in your washing sink. So that was also an issue we were thinking about, to make it accessible for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, yes, if you have the machine, why not? But if you don't have, that's not only the option. So, yeah. There is another, well, there's another gentleman, Da Costa Aheto, who is saying that he also has an NGO, founder of Help Them Educational Foundation. Okay. So thank you so much, Da Costa, also for joining. Yeah. So those were the comments, the new comments from LinkedIn.
Thank you so much, Mr. Oppong, for helping us out. Collins,
yes.
hello.
Okay. Hello.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, all right. I even want to ask a
Okay.
question to my audience, yes or no. So I would like audience to answer this question if they've used or considered using reusable pads.
Am I
So my
packed?
audience, I'm waiting.
As for me,
Oh, you
yes. A
can,
big
sure.
yes, that's for me. It's a big yes. Yes, please.
Jenny, please, can you share your experience so far?
For using the reusable pad.
A reusable pad. Yeah.
Yes, it's good. It's very flexible to use it. You don't feel like, oh, is it leaking? Has it tilt? Am I okay? It's okay. Go and get yours. Get yours and you'll be fine. Yes, it's very good for us to use it. That's the little that I can see. If I see all of them, you'll be like, oh, then there is no need for me to also go and try. So please use this opportunity to get one for yourself, your sister, your friend, a colleague at work, or maybe a girl that you know that maybe she can't afford a pad. You can help get her one of Crimson Liberation Hub reusable sanitary pad.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. As we've come to the end of this session, it has been a very important and enlightened discussion. I hope you've learned and enjoyed as well. As for me, I'm not going to talk about myself again. If not, a lot of people will be like, you fused it. That's why you are talking about crimson, crimson, crimson. It's okay for crimson. We've seen that the eco-friendly menstruation is not just about sustainability. We've learned more beyond that. It is about improving lives, about sustainability, waste, creating access to safe and affordable options. So please, let's keep on pushing so that for 10 years to come, 15 years to come, we all use the reusable sanitary products. I want to use this opportunity to thank our speakers. Mr. Michael Oppong, the founder and CEO for Crimson Liberation Hub, and Ms. Le-Mai Mach, the advisory board member for Crimson Liberation Hub, for being
Also a
here.
co-founder. Also a co-founder.
Oh,
Lima and
okay.
I founded this. Yeah, so
Wow.
he's also a co-founder.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing this initiative. It's a game changer. Thank you so much. And thank you for taking the time to share your knowledge and your insights with us. We appreciate so much. And thank you to my co host Collins for the support. I appreciate it so much. And to our team members, the organizers, the technical team members, everybody, thank you so much from posting, repost, commenting. Hey, thank you for always doing it with us. And to you who joined us, who have been joining AAA webinars events, thank you so much. Your comments, your presence, your engagement made this program a success. We look forward to see you on our next event. Thank you so much. On that note, we bring the program to a close. Have a wonderful day or evening. And thank you once again. Bye bye.
Thank you, Triple A. Thank you, Jennifer and
Thank you very
Collins.
Thank
Thank
much.
you,
you,
Lima.
Crimson Celebration
Thank
Hub.
you, everybody.
Bye. It's nice
Thank
to
you.
do it with
Bye.
you. Bye.